Time now for one of the most successful politicians in US history, Rudy Giuliani. Now, the deplorable antics of bad apple cops and a violent crime wave across Britain in recent weeks has sparked growing calls from the left to defund our police forces. The theory is largely an American concept fueled by far-left agitators like BLM and Antifa, but it now appears to be gaining traction here in the UK. But as mayor of crime-ridden New York City for 8 years until 2001, Giuliani says the answer is not to defund our police, but to instead take a zero-tolerance approach to crime, no matter how small. With tough leadership, he transformed New York from a criminal cesspit into a crime-fighting haven that saw robberies plunge 67% and murder drop by 2/3. And I'm delighted to say he joins me now. Mr. Giuliani, great to have you. How can Britain benefit from your zero-tolerance approach that brought so much success to New York during your time in charge, when the lefties over here are saying, hang on a moment, it's time to defund the police?
Yeah, it's almost like revisiting history. You know, we've already been through this back in the 70s and the 80s. The theory that you're talking about of zero tolerance is the broken windows theory. And it was really developed not by me, but by two professors, George Kelling and particularly James Q. Wilson of Harvard. And they tried it out. The idea is if you don't pay attention to small things, they're going to get worse. And if you create an atmosphere of disrespect for the law, then over a period of time, criminals, almost like children, keep pushing the envelope. They try to find out how far they can go. And then finally, when you have your confrontation with them, you're at a point of, very serious crime. So you've got to start, and you can't, sometimes there are too many crimes to arrest everyone. Not everything means an arrest. Some can mean a summons. I'll give you an example. We had a terrible graffiti problem in New York when I became mayor in '94. In 2 years, we got rid of it. Do you know the sentences we gave people who were doing it illegally? We sentenced them to the graffiti. We didn't put them in jail. We didn't handcuff them. We didn't treat them the way you would treat a murderer or a robber. But we treated them proportionate to the wrongdoing. They were taking somebody else's property who didn't want their pictures painted on it, and were painting it almost in this narcissistic sense that we can, and it is narcissism, that we can do anything we want. So we have to teach people in society that all of us have to restrain our desires to do everything we want because there are other people living with us. It's no more complicated than that. And sometimes it's painted as almost like a fascist. It isn't. It's a much more intelligent application of, if the violations are small, you don't come after them like a ton of bricks, but you find something that gets them aware of the fact, can't do that. You can't just write on somebody else's property, not yours.
Because in London at the moment, Mr. Giuliani, where we have this failed bloke, hard left guy, Sadiq Khan, he was obviously the hater of Donald Trump. You might remember he allowed the big Trump blimp to go up in the sky when he was on his presidential visit here. Often, Rudy, it seems like he's on the side of the criminals, not the police.
He should be a mayor in America. I mean, he should be a Democratic mayor in America. George Soros. We have about 40 or 50 of those. And if you looked at last year, 17 of them accomplished an unbelievable feat. They accomplished the most murders in their city in the history of America. For example, Philadelphia, one of our great old cities, around a long time, it had more murders last year than ever before in its history. It has a district attorney elected by George Soros, who doesn't believe in putting people in jail, and a mayor who's a very, very, not a normal Democrat, a very left-wing Democrat, who somehow thinks that people shouldn't be held responsible for the crimes they commit. It's so bad that we're having like a revolution within the Democratic Party. The Democratic committee in Philadelphia were made up of really tough old Democrats. Philadelphia is a tough old Democrat city. They wanted to get rid of the DA, and they put up. But Soros's money beat them.
So Rudy, can you say now, looking 2 years on from the BLM movement, given that the calls to defund the police and defund the Met Police, specifically in the UK, are growing, can you say categorically that the concept of defunding the police has failed in the US?
100%. It has definitely failed. That is not 100% accepted. I would say it's about 70% accepted. A great example is Rochester, New York. A very, very fine old American city, the home of IBM originally. I mean, for a city exceptionally well accomplished, Kodak. They decided to do a defund the police, get rid of the police. Let's use social workers instead. Last year and the year before, the crime there was catastrophic.
Wow.
Per capita had 5 times more crime than New York City. I mean, there's never been a time when you would go to an upstate city in New York and it was more dangerous than New York City. Now we've got 4 of them that are more dangerous than New York City because they defunded the police.
Crazy.
Now 3 of them refunded the police, and they're doing a little better now. But one of them, Rochester, hasn't yet, and they're still suffering enormous numbers of murder. So
Absolutely
by and large,
fascinating. It doesn't work. No, it doesn't work. And we need to look to the US because let me tell you, this defund the police movement is coming to the UK and it is disturbing and it doesn't work. Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor, thank you so much. Rudy, we'll speak again soon.
God willing.
Thank you, Rudy.